Mason Mount is finally back from injury and back in contention in the starting 11 for Manchester United. The question now is, what is his best position? How should Erik ten Hag use him for the rest of the season? Well, in my opinion, there are 3 different roles which Mason Mount could play till the end of the season. Option and role number 1 is to play him alongside Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield, a little bit like he done in pre-season against Arsenal in the summer. Now, when he played against Arsenal in this game, we saw Mason Mount in the double pivot, and his role was quite interesting. He was dropping and moving into a lot of different positions. For example, here we can see him dropping right deep, looking to receive the ball from the goalkeeper. Not particularly under pressure, but he shows his ability to receive the ball, get his head up and look to play from there. This is something you would expect when he's playing in a deeper role. You can see Kobbie Mainoo actually just ahead of him on this occasion. However, in the next instance, we've got him a little bit higher. Now, in the middle third of the pitch. Now, again, the role that Mason Mount is playing here, in the double pivot once again, is a sort of linking role, looking to bring others into the game, keep the ball moving and ticking over. He receives the ball from Lisandro Martinez, and quite simply just plays a quick backwards pass to this player here, a sort of a wall pass to keep the ball moving. What you will notice, though, is that on this occasion, Kobbie Mainoo is actually the deeper player up here. And then we've got a situation like this one, where he's looking to now link the play once again, but on this occasion with players higher up the pitch. Now he here is involved in getting United out of the press, but you will actually see that initially he isn't a passing option, because he's behind the Arsenal pressers. If we look at the 2 Arsenal pressing players here, we can see that Mason Mount is behind them. However, this means that he is available once again for the wall pass off the winger here, getting the ball before then looking to carry the ball forward and eventually play the ball forward down the left-hand side of the pitch. So he is involved in playing out from the back, despite not initially being a passing option. And this is something which he could do alongside Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo could be the player responsible for getting it in the first phase, whilst Mason Mount pushes a little bit higher as a second line receiver, and also playing behind the press at times, being available for these wall passes, receiving the ball backwards, and then looking to connect play from here. Does Mason Mount have the tools to do that? Yeah, in my opinion, he does. I don't think he is a first phase midfielder, like what Kobbie is. I don't think he does that role particularly well, but I think he has the ability to play in this sort of position, carry the ball forward. I think he's a pretty good ball carrier for United, one of our better players in these areas, and he's also a really good passer. There have been question marks over his ball retention. However, as I discussed in this video here, which will now be linked, you can go check that out, it's back from the summer. I don't think ball retention is actually a massive issue. If he is asked to keep the ball, he can do it, because technically he's a really good player. And then, of course, from this sort of position, he can still get forward into the final third of the pitch and look to contribute in the attack.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order.
Another option for Erik ten Hag is to play Mason Mount in more of this sort of 10 role in the place of Bruno Fernandes. Again, this is something which we saw in pre-season in this game against Lyon. And of course, playing as a higher player in the 10, we saw a very different performance in that game. Someone who was given the license to get forward on a more regular basis, get into these sort of half spaces on the right hand side, before then looking to deliver into the penalty area. However, whilst he was a 10 Mason Mount, still naturally he wanted to drop a little bit deeper at times and get touches on the ball. He is a player who wants to be involved. So once again here, United are trying to play out from the back, and despite starting so much higher up the pitch, Mason Mount is still willing to drop deeper to try and get on the ball. And in these phases, I do feel that he is a little bit better than Bruno Fernandes. He is better at protecting the ball, his ball retention is just better for the side in general, and once again he is able to connect the play with these sorts of passes to play out from the back, and he's also then got the speed, if he needs to, get onto the second ball. He's got that mobility to get into these positions and receive the next pass, so he could do that pretty well in these sorts of situations. However, where I really like Mason Mount, if he plays as a 10, is playing between the lines, receiving the ball on the half turn. This is something which I think he does a lot better than any of the other United centralised players. This ability to receive the ball like this. Now what you will see is initially he is actually facing the ball. However, what he does is he lets it roll across his body because he has previously scanned, known that there is space behind him, and it allows him to get on the half turn and drive forward. This is an area where Bruno Fernandes struggles a little bit. Bruno, of course, a very good player, but not a half-turn player, not someone who wants to always receive in between the lines, and when he does, he loses the ball quite a lot. Mason Mount is much better at keeping the ball in these sorts of instances, and that is something which he could do for this United side. Let's say we now swap Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo, let Mainoo move forward into these areas, as we saw him do in that famous goal against Wolves. You play Mason Mount slightly more to the right-hand side in this advanced position. You have a player who can receive the ball in between the lines, particularly when Dalot inverts, firing these passes in towards the feet of Mason Mount, getting on the half-turn, looking to play forward from there. He could be really dangerous. He's also really good at underlapping as well. So let's say Garnacho has the ball on the right-hand side, or it could be Anthony as well. Mason Mount loves an underlapping run into the final third to get onto the ball and then look to fire a ball or a cut back across the goal, which could really suit someone like Rasmus Højlund up front. So this is definitely another role which Mason Mount could play. The other option for Erik ten Hag, though, is to move Mount back into a role which he played at Chelsea, and that was more of a right wing role. Now, of course, that would mean Garnacho out of the side, but perhaps he needs a little bit of protection and rest at times. Now you are looking at a very different sort of performance. You are looking at someone starting on the right-hand side, but then looking to come infield, once again allowing us to create this box shape with Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo. Now, of course, the expectancy would now be for Diogo Dalot to get forward, but this does give United a really good shape. The problem is, for me, it leaves our right-hand side lacking that true creativity. Mason Mount, whilst I like him receiving between the lines, I don't think has the greatest creative output in the world, and I also have never really been convinced by Dalot overlapping. I much prefer him in an inverted position. However, once again, it is another option for Mason Mount. He could play this role, he's used to it, he would give you a lot of defensive work rate out of possession as well. He could be a really good fit. However, the problem that we have when doing this video is we look at Mason Mount in these three different roles. We look at him next to Kobbie Mainoo. In my opinion, it doesn't quite work because of the defensive side of the game. Should you be looking to defend in a low block at times or things like that, Mason Mount and Kobbie Mainoo does not give you enough protection in my opinion. They both work hard enough and cover a decent amount of ground, particularly in the case of Mount, but defensively, it's not really what they want to focus on. You know, they're not ball winners, they're not destroyers. Whilst Kobbie is good in the duel, he's not a destroying midfielder, so that would be my concern. The next question was, could Mason Mount take the role of Bruno Fernandes in the 10 position? To an extent, yes, I think he could. He offers something a little bit different. However, again, the problem is, one, we now haven't got Bruno Fernandes in the side, which is a problem in my opinion, but also we haven't got the same pure creative output. We haven't got that same ability to create something from nothing in the final third of the pitch. So again, it doesn't quite work. And then we have the question of the right wing position. Does it work? Yes, he's used to playing this role. He would offer a lot to the side. However, he doesn't have that ability to go both ways like what Garnacho does, and it does mean dropping Garnacho. Garnacho has been in brilliant form and probably doesn't deserve that. It also changes the balance of the team, with Dalot now required to get forward. It doesn't quite work in my opinion, and this is the problem for Mason Mount. He is a jack of all trades, a master of none, and that might be a problem for him. That might just be a problem for him. I currently don't see a position in the starting 11 where I think he comes in and makes it his own and proves that he deserves to start every game. So unfortunately for Mason Mount, it does look as though he will be a squad player till the end of the season. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that he won't play. Kobbie Mainoo will need to be rested at times. Bruno Fernandes might need a rest, and so might Garnacho. So Mason Mount should still get some starts till the end of the season, and plenty of substitute appearances. However, in terms of breaking into the starting 11, I just feel that Kobbie Mainoo's progress this season, his development, has almost ruled out most of the chances of Mason Mount getting back into the starting 11, which is a little bit of concern. Does it make it look like a little bit of a waste of money? Maybe. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen this summer and then next season as well, the role with Mason Mount. We might get a glimpse of it in the next few weeks. So, my opinion, Mason Mount's best role till the end of the season is going to be a squad player who can fill some gaps. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Could he play next to Kobbie Mainoo? Could he replace Bruno Fernandes? Or could he play on the right wing and give us a different balance? Let me know what you think in the comments. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.